if we could jump into the mind of a mature buck,
Well, there's several things.
What would we see?
That opens up for like 20 different questions could be asked. But I'm going to tell you right now, most people do not realize how they use other deer. So one of the biggest things people don't realize is a lot of guys don't realize that buck never has to see you to figure you out, because most guys get figured out by the alpha doe and the beta doe, and that buck watches them. So a great example is I go into a property and I'm walking usually with 4 or 5 guys. I go into this nice little food plot that they consider a killing food plot where they want to try to kill a big buck. The problem is they got one stand in the corner, and I go, how many years has that stand been there? And they said, well, it's been there about 12 years. And I go, whose stand is it? And they go, it's community stand. Everybody gets to hunt it. So here's the problem. When you put one stand in a food plot, every time something goes wrong, it's the same tree. So now what happens, a doe walks in, and it's the first day of the season, and the first thing it does is it glances up at that tree. When that buck sees that doe walk in for no reason and look up at one tree and not look at the other trees, he basically backs off. And a lot of these guys don't realize by shooting does in a tree stand, you dramatically drop your chance of killing a buck because other deer seen what happened. So none of my stands have ever killed a doe. I always put a minimum of 2 stands at every location, most times 3. And that way I can bounce around and the deer can never figure me out. Most people do not realize that buck watches everything. So then that made me actually make bucks more calm, because I can bring him to a corner and build the ultimate lookout so that he can set in cover and still have a peek hole out into the field. No different than a hunter wants to be up and the other deer don't know what's going on and you're watching. Bucks want to watch. So I learned a long time ago, design these 20 yards from your stand, give the deer cover and a place to stand, and basically can be able to see the field. And now the buck will come to that corner versus all the other corners where he just got to step right in. There's 100 little things. Then another thing that's really important, a lot of guys are passing up bucks. And they're passing up 1.5 years, 2.5 and even 3.5. But they don't get a stockpile of big bucks because they don't understand one thing. A big buck, every year he gets older, he gets smarter. Okay? When he gets at 3.5 years of age in Michigan, he's smart. He starts looking around, you got square boxes everywhere. You got shooting lanes. Your food plots are too big. Your woods ain't designed right. It's too open in most areas they got to travel through. He is loyal to nothing but habitat, and he believes in security. He will move down the road 3 to 5 miles or farther if he has to. And most guys are not building a stockpile because their property doesn't match the age structure of the animal they're trying to hold. So what you have to understand, 1.5 years and a 2.5 acts like a doe most of the time. And most guys build their knowledge on them animals. And to really understand big bucks, all I did is studied mature animals. That's why I have mature animals come out and I don't shoot them, because I learn from them. And if you shoot them, you can't learn from them. So my whole life was studying big bucks from the beginning. And I realized they're a whole different animal. They look at everything differently. So what most hunters should realize, if you pass up bucks and you ain't getting a stockpile, a red flag should go off in your head. It means your property ain't matching what the deer's mind is.